What's going on, YouTube? Welcome back to another Heart Over Height episode. Today, we're going to be talking all about the New York Knicks. Some news that just went down with Jalen Brunson himself. So if you guys do enjoy this kind of content, do me a huge favor. Smash the like button. Subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 12,000 subs. And of course, comment down below what you expect out of the Knicks in this upcoming season. Do you expect them to be championship roster with this big news, or are they going to regress with some healthy players coming back? I'm going to discuss all sorts of options with you right now. So, big news before we get into breaking down their depth chart. Jalen Brunson accepts a $156.5 million deal. $113 million less than he could have had if he went next year and got his deal. It's a 4-year deal right now. So, if he would have waited, right, $113 million is what he left on the table for the Knicks themselves. What this means is he's trying to be the saving grace for the Knicks. They haven't shown any sort of win in any time thus far. Even like the Carmelo days, it wasn't working. So what Brunson did was he looked at other sports and he said, hey, Tom Brady did it, Patrick Mahomes did it, Derek Jeter did it, where they took pay cuts for the better of the team. Because yes, $156 million is still a lot of money, of course, but he could have had a way bigger contract. Now, of course, why Jalen Brunson did it. He trying to be that king in New York kind of guy, the savior, help the organization boost this roster, because you can see other teams with their crazy rosters. You look at the Thunder with how well they have constructed their roster, and the way they did it was they have a ton of rookie deals. You know, they've got a lot of guys, Chet Holmgren, of course, on a rookie deal and so on. And so the Knicks didn't really have that. They had a roster that is already a lot of veterans on this team. So they had to take another playbook, and they said, okay, well, there's Boston with, of course, the two top dogs and then a bunch of role players around them. But then they decided to go, Jalen Brunson was stepped up to the plate and said, hey, I'm willing to take a pay cut so that you guys can do what you need to do, whether that is lock down Mikal Bridges, whether, you know, for a few more years, and get him extended, whether it is extending Julius Randle, or whether it is going and finding other pieces that fit well with this roster so we can win today. What I believe is going to happen is that they, because of this contract, they have saved now $22 million on next year's cap. So that means that they're going to be able to play around with that money. The biggest question is going to be Julius Randle, of course. I think that they'll be able to get the Mikal Bridges deal done just fine, just because Brunson, DiVincenzo, Josh Hart, Mikal Bridges are all homies. They're all playing together. They want to play together. The real question here, and when you look at this depth chart, I think it's pretty obvious. OG Anunoby, to me, feels like a starter for the Knicks. And so then that leaves Julius Randle out. With that, I don't think that his playstyle, Randle's playstyle, really fits what the Knicks are looking for. Julius Randle is a very ball-dominant big that kind of is a bit of a more selfish player who wants to definitely wants to fill up his stat sheet first, and then go out and, you know, depending on how the game's going and all that. But, you know, when you have a lineup of this, I mean, I'm looking at this roster, and it looks like Julius Randle is that guy that is the odd man out. So I believe that OG is going to end up filling that power forward spot for them. Julius Randle, they're going to move off of, and then they're going to find other spots to fill. And with Jalen Brunson taking that pay cut, that allows them to then go out and fill. There's still a lot of guys on the free agency market. Right, Markelle Fultz is still on the market. I don't think he fits this roster, but it's an example. Gordon Hayward, same thing. But what I do like is Jalen Brunson is just willing to be that guy and be like, hey, I've noticed in the NBA standings with these other teams that, you know, Boston's got it going on. Our top competition right now is Boston, of course, Philly, of course. The Bucks are a huge question mark. Miami also a pretty big question mark. The Cavs as well, and all those guys, the Cavs, Boston, Philly, they have their star, they have surrounding supporting cast, and they've got depth. You know, you look at Cleveland, has a bunch of players there that are, one, question marks. I've talked about that in many videos. Darius Garland, whether he will be on the roster come in this upcoming season or whether he'll be dealt around that trade deadline, because so far they have played better without, when Mitchell's on the court, Darius Garland doesn't play as well, and vice versa. And then same thing like Boston. You look at them, they have a lot of depth. They clearly just won the championship. It's moves like Jalen Brunson taking a pay cut that really allows an organization to go out and make championship sort of moves. So although this doesn't necessarily affect the Knicks today specifically, I mean, it theoretically could, but I believe that this is going to be a near the trade deadline kind of savior where they're going to be able to package something with Randle to then go and get a piece that helps them win. You know, you could be looking at Julius Randle. His contract fits a lot of teams. So let's pull up Julius Randle's contract specifically. Julius Randle contract. And so right here, we have Julius Randle's contract with around $29 million in average salary right here. That means that an NBA player, typically, you need to make the money match and everything like that. And $29 million is a very team-friendly contract that matches pretty well with a lot of other players. It's not too much money. You know, it's not some of these $40 million contracts that are trying to be traded, i.e. Zach LaVine, Trae Young, etc. And you know, with their play style of the Knicks, I really think that the Knicks are looking to go into a different direction than Julius Randle. Especially, it's pretty simple and pretty obvious. Jalen Brunson, point guard, he is your guy. He is that dude, right? But when you look at this roster, now, of course, we don't know how Mikal Bridges is going to fit in this. We all assume he's going to gel really well and fit right off the bat, and I agree. But is this going to be Phoenix Sun Mikal Bridges, or is this going to be Brooklyn Nets Mikal Bridges, where he's kind of a second, third option? Are they going to then, is Brunson enough? That is, are they going to need more with going and getting another star? Because in today's league, you're going to go up against Tatum, Brown, and Kristaps, for example, or Drew Holiday, or Derek White, as whatever third star you want to say for the Celtics. Like I said, the Cavs, Darius Garland, Donovan Mitchell, Evan Mobley. The Sixers, you have Paul George, you have Tyrese Maxey, Joel Embiid. There's 3 stars there. 3 stars a lot of places. The Thunder, they have, of course, they went and got guys that elevated their roster, but they have J-Dub, they have Shea, and they have Chet. 3 stars. You look at all these teams, even when the Nuggets were good. You may not want to say Aaron Gordon was a star, but in the playoffs, he was playing like a star. He was looking like that, like a really good third option that is championship level, contending, did exactly what he needed to do, and that's exactly what I'm talking about with the Knicks. Right now, technically, you have 3 stars being Brunson, Mikal Bridges, Julius Randle, but Julius Randle doesn't fit that role of, hey, I need to take a step back and just do what I need to do. He's more of the, I need to go get mine, and then we'll worry about the rest of the roster. So I don't really see the two, the Knicks and Julius Randle really meshing well together. Now, of course, we could see something totally different, but this is a contract Jalen Brunson took out of a playbook of someone like Patrick Mahomes, Tom Brady. And then last but not least, a lot of people are criticizing him, saying, hey, you should have gotten your money and everything like that. But Brunson's very smart in the sense that we don't know how tomorrow looks. As in, he could go to practice today, and of course I don't want this, but theoretically an injury could happen that could end his career. Derrick Rose, it happened to. It almost ended Paul George's career. Players like that. Kevin Durant has had a brutal injury. Kobe Bryant had a brutal injury. Luckily, those guys were able to come back from those, but that's not always the case. Lonzo Ball has never come back the same. He's never come back, really, from the injuries. It's hopeful he'll play this season, but it's not guaranteed. And so Jalen Brunson was like, okay, because it's not guaranteed, I could have an injury tomorrow. Let me go get my paper now, my money now. That way we can try I can have guarantee money. Like, I got a family to feed kind of thing. I really respect this move a lot. As far as it affecting the rest of the NBA and in the future, you could see a little bit of that. I still think a lot of guys are pretty money hungry. They want as much money as they can really get. And with the whole second apron and everything, you could see a little bit of an adjustment. But I don't, it's not too often, because you see, for example, the Miami Heat Big Three with Dwayne Wade, Bosh, LeBron. They all took slightly under, slight pay cuts, but nothing like Jalen Brunson did. Jalen Brunson took this massive pay cut, so I don't really see a whole lot of players doing that. The only instance I see that is more of a player that had a down year. They take a big pay cut to bet on themselves to then go get a bigger bag in the future. So with that being said, guys, if you did enjoy this video, do me a huge favor, smash the like button, subscribe to the YouTube channel, comment down below. Yes, how do you feel about the Jalen Brunson contract, as well as where do you see the Knicks falling in this upcoming season? Are they going to be able to compete with the Celtics for another championship run, or somebody like Philly or someone like that? Or are they going to regress with someone like Randle coming back, or Mikal Bridges not necessarily fitting in the system? So again, if you did enjoy, comment, like, subscribe to the channel. We're on the road to 12K. All right, guys, been another Heart Over Height, and I'll catch you guys in the next one. Peace.